grief, sadness, a broken heart. In this video today, by the end, we're going to be with that feeling. We're going to shift and we're going to transform that grief into joy. Now, this has nothing to do with bypassing grief. It has everything to do with being with it and transforming it. And what if you could have a sense of sadness, something you're sad over, and still live a joyful life? Is that something that you would want? Let me hear a yes in the comments. So, beautiful people, my name is Rebecca Abraxas. I have a website called RebeccaAbraxas.com. It's all about using the voice as an awareness tool and as a sound healing tool. Your own voice that you have, that you own, can be that powerful to work with that heavy feeling of grief and loss and brokenheartedness. So today's video is all about how to do that. I'm going to lead you on kind of like a demo, and this is going to be a meditation that you can use every day if you want to, so that you can transform that heavy grief into a lighter vibration that you can really live with in a joyful state as you're processing the loss that you've just gone through. So let's get started. All right, first off, if you would find a spot where you can spend some time with just you and this video, a spot where you can be quiet, that you can express yourself with sound, get a pillow, be on your bed, however you want to do it. You can lay down or you can sit up like this on a few pillows. So that's essential. And look what we have here. We have Mr. Plant. I love these plants, and this plant is so forgiving. I'm not the greatest at watering them, but this one keeps coming back and back. Isn't she pretty? So we have her contribution here today. All right, so once you've found a nice, comfortable place to sit, one where you can sit uninterrupted, we're going to tune in to your grief, to your loss, to your brokenheartedness. So whatever helps you do that, okay? Bringing up the situation, the story, the emotion, however it is, what we want to do is bring up the energy of the grief, okay? So for right now, I want you to take your grief and I want you to put it up. And imagine if this was a volume knob. I want you to put the volume up to 100. I want you to feel the grief immensely in this moment. Just feel it, just be with it. It hurts, I know. I have been there. Turn it up, okay? And that's gonna really help you do this next part. So this next part is, now that you've turned up the dial on your grief, I want you to sense where you feel it in your body. Most likely there's going to be a place. A lot of times it's in the heart, the gut, okay? Sometimes it can be in the pelvis. Sometimes you just feel it like pulsating in your head. Where do you feel this heavy energy of grief when you put up the dial? So find the body part. Okay. Good. Now I want you to just close your eyes and I want you to feel it. Feel the heck out of it. And I want you to just breathe into that body part. So taking a breath in, letting it out, bringing the focus of the breath to that body part, letting it out, breathing in. Good. So we have a good understanding of where it is in the body. We have a good idea of the sensation, the intense sensation. Okay, now I'm going to go through a series of questions that you are going to just answer to yourself. Now this is just a way to be with the energy of the grief. There's no right or wrong answer. If you're not psychic, it doesn't matter. This is just an intuitive process. And if nothing comes to you, if an answer doesn't come, that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about that question, and let's go to the next question, okay? So here we go. So tuning in to that sensation of the grief and loss. Now from there, tuning into the body part where it is. Okay, it's the heart. Tune there. Sometimes it helps to place your hands on the body part where you sense the grief is. So now I'll go through the series of questions. If that grief in that body part had a color, what would it be? What color is it? If that heavy grief energy had a shape, what would that shape be? If that body part and that grief, the shape and the color, if it had a texture, would it be rough, smooth, something in between? What's the texture? And now, what is the temperature? Tune in. Does it feel like it's very cold, very hot, lukewarm? What's the temperature that you sense in that part of the body that's associated with this energy of the grief? And now, does it have words associated to it? So you see the shape, you see the color, the texture. Do you see words on the shape? Or do words come to your mind when you look at your shape? Is there a message? And finally, is there a sound? Is there a sound that comes through? Does this shape, this colored shape, have a sound that it's emanating? And if it does have a sound, would you be willing to voice that right now in the room on your own? Right now, just letting that sound out. So if I was to tune in, it could sound like anything: groaning, toning, high pitch, low pitch, grumbles. So let out anything that wants to come out. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your vocal cords. It's not going to sound pretty. Maybe it will. Probably not. It's okay. Just let the sound out. Okay, now release your hands. And these questions help us just kind of commune with the heaviness of the grief. And from there, what I'm going to ask you to do is let your voice go to the grief and voice out whatever the grief would like to say via your voice. Could be with words, could just be with sounds like vowel sounds. Now I'm going to start. I'm going to tune into the frequency of grief. Now, everyone's experience with grief is different, but the frequency and the density of grief is pretty universal. So I'm going to tune into that with the intention of bringing it back to the resonant frequency of an awake human being. And from there, what I'd like you to do is chime in. Chime in with your song of grief, wherever it is on the spectrum, okay? With the intention of coming back to your resonant frequency of well-being, okay? So just allow your voice to come on through. So here we go. I'm going to tone. You'll tone along with me when you're ready. So now, after the sounding, after you used your voice along with mine to voice the grief and elevate the frequency, now I want you to go in to that spot in the body that you focused on, where the grief was located, where the shape and the color. So close your eyes and see if you can still see the shape and the color and the texture, the temperature and the sound. Can you sense all of that still there? Has it shifted? Is it gone completely? Has it gone to a different part of the body? Do you feel lighter? So this practice is really powerful, especially if you really went for it with the voice. And so with this demo, maybe you're just kind of feeling into it. I really suggest going back, and now that you know what's happening, go back and do it again and go through the process again and again until you feel that there is a shift, that the body part where the grief was living feels lighter. All that shape and sound and color is gone. And so this practice is really powerful, and you can do it for like a whole hour or longer, however long you want. But when you do this practice, it is pretty powerful. I have seen people within an hour shift this heavy grief into this giddy, joyful state. I once worked with a mother who lost her son just a few weeks prior. I've worked with all types of grief, a lot of people that have lost partners or friends with cancer, just quick accidents where that brought great loss to their lives. So all types of loss and grief this practice can work with. So let me know in the comments, did this all make sense? Let me hear a yes. And let me see a thumbs up too if you were able to lighten yourself up, meaning you feel lighter, you feel a little bit more joyful, less sad. And again, this was like a 15-minute journey as opposed to an hour. And perhaps put this on a few more times and you can have the whole hour. So to recap, you're going to find a still, quiet place. You're going to tune in and turn the volume up of your grief. And then you're going to tune into where you feel that in your body. And from there, you're going to ask some questions. This grief located in this part of the body, what is its shape, its color, its texture, its sound, its temperature, and any words associated with it. And then you allow your voice to be the voice of the grief. And sometimes it helps to have kind of someone else doing some toning and holding the resonant frequency so that you can play in the vibrational rainbow from grief to joy. And that's what I was holding for you. And then just start letting out your voice on vowel sounds or groans or just tones like ah, ooh, ee, ree, any sound, okay? Just let your voice vocalize. And between grief and joy, you're going to play with the frequencies and the intentions of your emotions and the vibration of each emotions in there. And by the end, you may notice that you raise up a little bit and you feel a little lighter or a lot lighter. So any questions about this, please put them in the comments and be happy to answer any questions. And if this work is interesting to you, I encourage you to go over to my website, RebeccaAbraxas.com. And there is a sweet little quiz you can take. It's my free gift to you for joining the email list. And the gift tells you what your voice is telling you and gives you um, a fun little practice to do. And from there, if you would like to do a free discovery call about your voice and how to shift grief and sadness and brokenheartedness with your voice, we can proceed from there. So thank you so much for joining this video. Thanks for coming to the end. Be sure to subscribe, like, and click that bell if you want to have more videos like this to transform those denser frequencies, those denser emotions that you'd like to have more joy, but you feel a little stuck in the heavier emotions of life. This channel's all about remembering your greatness and the power you have to go above and beyond some of the density that's happening here on the planet. So beautiful being, thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. Namaste.